Welcome to the Robotics Through Science Fiction podcast. Let's talk about physical human-robot interaction and what that means. And it turns out a good place to start is by watching the Netflix movie, I Am Mother. I Am Mother is the Hilary Swank Rose Byrne movie streaming on Netflix where a robot named Mother, Rose Byrne, raises a daughter, appropriately named Daughter, as part of a plan to repopulate the Earth after an extinction event. Or maybe not, because once Hilary Swank, as a survivor, shows up, she starts challenging some of the fundamental assumptions. And while I Am Mother is neither a great science fiction movie nor a bad one, it is a good way to jumpstart thinking about physical HRI. Now, physical HRI is about humans and robots physically interacting. Well, one example is robot surgery, where considerable effort is expended to make sure the robot uses the right amount of pressure when cutting and stays within bounds and things like that. And that's pretty easy if the application is something like an automated robot precisely hollowing out a bone so that a hip replacement can be inserted with a better fit. But it gets more complicated with a device such as a Da Vinci robot where a surgeon is controlling it. What if the surgeon makes a mistake, gets distracted, makes a sudden jerky motion? Yeah, we'd like the robot to be smarter in those cases than the doctor, but unfortunately that's not always the case. A recent study of 10,064 robot surgeries between 2000 and 2013 showed 114 people died during errors and malfunctions during surgery. Now overall that's a low percentage, 1.4%, but if your loved one was in the 1.4%, that would be of much comfort. Another type of physical interaction is robot safety. And factory robots have killed at least 7 workers, and they're listed in the top 7 robots killed by robots, or people killed by robots. And it's really more if you count the 29 Japanese scientists that were mysteriously killed by their robots on this conspiracy theory. Now, most industrial robots work in a cage or cordoned off so that no one should be able to enter the work envelope. And then you've got robots like the Kiva Amazon warehouse robots that are moving in areas where people might be in. So there's a significant amount of research in enabling factory robots to detect a person on contact and then react by loosening up the joints or pulling back so that the collision will not injure the person or not as much. But what about being hit by a self-driving passenger car, which have already hit pedestrians? Well, clearly that's bad. But here's a new problem. In Pittsburgh, my friends at Carnegie Mellon who are saying the cars that are being tested there are hated. And it's not because of the Silicon Valley bro culture. It's because the cars will stay stopped and people can, as people walk and just sort of jaywalk, and they know they can get away with it. And people hate traffic jams more than they hate robots. A third type of physical HRI is a more benign form of contact. Now think about exoskeletons and prosthesis. Now they're tricky because the physical HRI isn't just the fit and the comfort, but how would an exoskeleton interpret cues from the human? Like, should I bend, or do I need to do more or less? I Am Robot exhibits a fourth one, social interaction. Mother picks up and holds and physically nurtures daughter, which is more than physical dexterity. In fact, she's cleverly designed to have warming pads on her chest and arms to do that touch. And remember all those studies about chimps being raised by hairless surrogates and going crazy? So that's really a nice touch to have those warming pads. Overall, I recommend I Am Mother. It's a good enough popcorn movie to watch with tweens and teens, and it's an opportunity to think about all the ways we would come into physical contact with a robot. If you want to learn more about physical HRI, you might want to listen to a keynote talk by Professor Alessandro De Luca, which is listed on our webpage, or check out the chapter in the Springer Handbook of Robotics. Plus, we have a topic page on exoskeletons in the RTS website. And for all your viewers, if you want to learn more about robotics in general, you can check out my book, Robotics Through Science Fiction, Artificial Intelligence Explained Through 6 Classic Robot Short Stories, or my new textbook, Introduction to AI Robotics. Either way, please remember to subscribe to our newsletter and YouTube channel so you won't miss a thing.